Good morning, folks. This is Danny with Danny's Luxury Cruise Vacations. We are an independent affiliate of the Riviera Travel Network. And today we have Jared on the phone from Riviera Travel. And we're going to spend a few minutes with Jared to learn about this wonderful brand that's new to the North American market, but not new to the river cruise industry. So good morning, Jared.
Good morning, Danny. Always great to be with you, and thank you for
Thank you.
having me on.
My pleasure. So, Jared, the first question I have for you and for our viewers, can you tell us a little bit about who Riviera Travel is, please?
Absolutely. So, we are an upper premium river cruise company. And as you mentioned, we are fairly new to the North American market, particularly the market here in the United States. But we are not a new or fly by night organization or company. Riviera Travel has existed in various forms for over 40 years. And we started off in the UK, in the United Kingdom, which is where our headquarters still is, as an escorted tour organizations, escorted tour company. But over the last 20 years, we've morphed into a river cruise supplier, and we are actually the number one river cruise company in the United Kingdom. We sell more river cruises to the UK citizens than any other river cruise company in the world. And so it is our goal to bring that to bring our brand and to bring that experience that we can provide to the US citizens in the North American market.
Perfect, perfect. Having said that, I think it's a nice segue into what rivers do you folks travel on in Europe?
So we are on the 10 most popular and most traditional rivers and waterways across Europe. Our number one selling river is the Danube. Now, for a lot of other river cruise companies, the top sellers are usually the Danube and Rhine and or the Rhine and the Danube. Our number one is the Danube, but our second best seller is actually the Douro, which travels throughout Spain and Portugal. Our third bestseller is the Seine in
Mhm,
France,
mhm.
and then the Rhine is our fourth. So our top sellers are a little bit different than some of the other river cruise companies out there. Some of our other specialty items and itineraries that sell very well on those rivers include the Dutch bulb sailings in the spring, which goes out on the Rhine. We have topic based or specialty itineraries based around food and wine, our gastronomy sailings, or historical itineraries focusing on World War One history, World War II history, and the history of Europe in general, and then Christmas markets and Yuletide sailings during the November and December months.
Now, having said that, I know that there is Riviera Travel and you have tours and things like that. So people, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they can combine a cruise with a tour. So do the cruise and then a tour, or a tour and then hook that up with a cruise.
So we call them our grand tours. And as I mentioned, we started off and still exist for the British as an escorted tour organization, an escorted tour company. We don't by and large sell our escorted tour itineraries to the US market, with the exception of our three grand tour itineraries, which, as you're 100% right, combine an escorted tour program, a week's worth of touring throughout Europe, married with a 7 day river cruise. So we have three options. The first one highlights the Italian lakes and Swiss mountains, which is one of my favorite areas of Europe in general, the northern area of Italy bleeding into the southern area of Switzerland, with absolutely gorgeous views of Lake Como, of the Matterhorn, of the Swiss Alps in general. And then we will get the folks over to deeper into Switzerland for a Rhine River cruise. Our second itinerary, our second grand tour, highlights France overall. So it travels through Provence and Paris, and then we put folks on the River Seine. And then our third and arguably most interesting itinerary combines a week's worth of touring throughout Italy, through Matera, through Cardona, and then we actually fly them over into Portugal and put them on a 7 day river cruise on the Douro. So on one itinerary, you get Italy and Switzerland combined. On another, you get a whole itinerary throughout France. And then on the third, you've got Italy, Spain, and Portugal all on one journey.
I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. And by the way, I highly suggest these itineraries for folks that are either first timers to Europe and just want to hit multiple places, multiple countries or cities all at once and really soak it in, or folks, and it could also be the same uh, clientele, same travelers that want to maximize their time and even their money when they're traveling to Europe to see different areas, experience different cities, countries, and different cultures all on one journey.
Absolutely. Well said. So having said that, do you folks have a target market or what, your demographics?
Yes. So the majority of our clients, just to be flat honest, are that 55-year old and higher demographic. Those that have a little bit more time, a little bit more money, energy, and excitement to maximize their time in Europe. And by the way, our product is wonderful because we provide a luxury level experience on our river cruises at a price tag that is roughly the same, maybe a little bit more than the lead in river cruises. So ones that maybe folks that are a little bit more on a budget tend to stick to, well, we can provide them a much higher class and level of service for roughly the same money. We also have a wonderful solo or single traveler program. Danny, I know you know that solo travelers are becoming more and more common, and the requests that you travel advisors get from solo travelers are coming hot and heavy over the last few years. The problem is with a lot of travel companies, when a solo traveler or a single traveler is interested, they then get charged essentially for two people. There's a single supplement. On all of our departures, we hold back several cabins across all the cabin categories with low single supplementary prices. However, we also have over 50 sailings dedicated for solo travelers, over 50 through 2025 and 2026, where there are no single supplementary rates across all of our cabin categories.
That's amazing. That's fabulous.
It creates a great opportunity for those solo travelers to take advantage of that opportunity, not just that opportunity to travel, but to travel among like-minded individuals and then not get charged up the wazoo for all of the above.
That's,
Uh,
yeah.
Last but not least, groups. We are very helpful where it comes to groups, whether it is a family going together or a group of friends, colleagues, a network traveling together. We provide great opportunities, discounts, and flexible booking periods for potential group
Perfect.
opportunities.
Perfect. Having said that, what I know you said luxury and great pricing and all of that. What's included with your product once the customer or client has paid for their cruise? What are they getting besides the wonderful experience on board your ship?
One of the things that we really like to drive home with Riviera is the value of the purchase. So, included within the purchase, within the booking of that cabin, are all the meals included for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. And the meals are phenomenal. A superior drinks package, which some folks may be familiar with the fact that many river cruise companies will only provide or serve wine, beer, and alcohol at meal times. Otherwise, one has to pay out of pocket either for a drinks package they have to purchase or pay itemized per drink each time they order one. With us, our superior drinks package is built in and included within the price of the purchase. So it's not extra rates, not extra fares, but it is a little different year over year. So just so folks know, in 2025, the drinks package provides an open bar from 6 p.m. till midnight and then wine and beer served at lunch if one wants to order it. For 2026, it's much more generous. It's an open bar from 10 a.m. right on until midnight. Last but not least, excursions and sightseeing at each of the stops that the cruise makes along the way. And with a lot of river cruise companies, they will provide sightseeing that's typical, but they only include one at each stop. So there's really no choices. With us, we always provide at minimum one, but typically provide 2 to 3 to 5 sightseeing options at each stop to pick from. And that
Oh,
is also included.
so theoretically, if one has the ability to do so, they do a morning excursion, come back to the ship, have lunch, and then they can go back in the afternoon and have another one.
And if one is not the excursion type, but as someone like myself likes to explore on their own and kind of happen upon things, because that's the other nice part of travel. You can do the sightseeing, see where what you like, and then go back there on your own. Or just if you like to stroll around the cities, around the areas, hit a museum, hit a famous site or iconic spot to visit, our cruise directors will make sure those leaving the ship for the day know where some of those great highlights are and suggest, hey, I see you're not on the excursion this morning or this afternoon. Make sure when you're going here, there, that you're stopping in this spot or you're grabbing lunch in that spot or a
Mhm.
cup of coffee in this cafe. So we also make sure that those even not on the excursions still get to experience and immerse themselves in the destination.
And then my last question for you, Jared, and probably just as important, is when you're not out sightseeing and touring and you're not enjoying the amazing food and service on board your ship, you want to be comfortable and be able to relax in the accommodations. Having said that, can you share a little bit about your accommodations, French balcony suites, what you have to offer?
Yes, so we have what we call the Emerald cabin class, which is on the lower portion of the cruise with a fixed window in the top portion of the cabin. Then on the next two, we have our Ruby level, which is where we have the floor to ceiling fixed French balconies, which is the majority of the cabins on board the cruise. And then we also have the platinum level, which is traditionally on the top, which has the private deck included that one can sit out. There's a table, there's a couple of chairs. And just for a little bit of color, not only is there the meals served in the dining room or our bistro at the stern of the ship, but if one wants to order breakfast to their cabin, particularly those that actually have the balcony built in, it creates a good opportunity for a quiet morning, a relaxing morning for one to just sit there, sip a cup of coffee or even a mimosa. They're on vacation. Of course, they should enjoy it as the ship is making its way up or down the river.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Jared, that was fabulous. Any last minute comments or anything you want to share about your wonderful brand with the consumer?
Absolutely. So it's worth noting that we do not let our ships age. By that, I mean, after 7 or 8 years in usage, we retire the vessel. So we're regularly putting out new vessels. We just put out two new ones this year, the Riviera Rose on the Douro and the Riviera Radiance on the Danube, which made its first maiden voyage just about 3 weeks ago. And coming in 2026, the sister ship of the Radiance, the Resplendence. And they're beautiful. They're well maintained. They have some great amenities like a massage parlor or a beauty parlor on the ship, or an absolutely gorgeous splash pool on the top deck. And it is a vacation. So take advantage of the sightseeing, take advantage of the included drinks package, take advantage of the ship itself to relax, decompress, see the sights all throughout Europe, and just enjoy yourself.
Beautiful. Jared, thank you very much for sharing your insights. Well appreciated.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate the time.